getting ready to go again on offense. And, Charles, you and I get a stat pack before every game. At the top of this one for the Patriots, the first note was that they're on their way to their 9th Super Bowl appearance. That is something. Most of any team.
And 8 of those since 2001. Would that be accurate?
That
because
is accurate.
The first one was Super Bowl 20. That didn't go very well against the Bears. But since that time, they become the predominant team, going to Super Bowls and winning them. What a franchise.
How about the game Hogan had in the AFC Championship? 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, both career highs for the 4th-year man out of Monmouth.
Another undrafted free agent, made good with New England. Everyone talks about his background. Remember, he was a lacrosse player at Penn State. 1 season of football at Monmouth where he played offense and defense. But I think what appeals to New England about lacrosse players, their movement skills. They're used to being shifty, used to running through contact, used to absorbing those things, and that allows him to make those contested catches in tough spaces.
Charles, so many of the Patriots know what the Super Bowl feels like. Martellus Bennett, a guy, 8th year, first Super Bowl trip, and after the game, you could tell he was a little elated, doing some dances with the cheerleaders. And
the pom-poms were going everywhere, weren't they?
They were.
But the interesting part was his observation later on social media where he said, I was out of my mind excited. And I looked around at a lot of the guys on the Patriots team, and they're like, yeah, you know, we've done this before, okay? We can be cool about it. But think about his impact this year. Supposed a team with Rob Gronkowski became the feature tight end after Gronk's injury. They are so glad that they picked him up.
And now the Atlanta Falcons getting ready to go. Matt Ryan will be the man under center. What a performance he had. He's had a lot of good performances this season, but against Green Bay, he was electric again, leading the Falcons to the Super Bowl.
He was so good in this game, and I think he's been so good throughout the playoffs, that if you cast your ballot for someone else for MVP beforehand,
go and get it.
You were calling to say, can I get it back? He was that good. 4 touchdown passes, ran one in, which we've talked about during the season has been a big addition to his game, has expanded running and movement in the pocket. He's been sensational, and his team is following him to the Super Bowl. But there's no doubt in my mind, partner, that he's one of the best receivers in the league, if not the best. And the argument's going to be short. It's a small sample. Julio Jones right there at the top because of his ability to do everything. Catch it, run it, his strength running patterns. How about the way he knocks people off of routes and continues them and finishes in the end zone?
He did all of that against Green Bay. A beautiful toe tap in the end zone for 1 touchdown. And then stiff-arming tacklers down the sideline. At 73 yards to the house, he was something.
And it's interesting you mentioned the toe tap. That people thought maybe his effectiveness would be limited because of a toe injury. We saw no ill effects against Green Bay in the NFC Championship game.
Here comes a Ben Roethlisberger-led Pittsburgh Steeler offense, and this crew fell 1 game short of playing in the Super Bowl. In the conference title game, 47 pass attempts for him, Charles, 31 completions, over 300 yards, but they were just overwhelmed by the Patriots.
They were outmanned in a way, and when you lose Le'Veon Bell at running back, that reduces your offense. And for Ben Roethlisberger, you saw the continued evolution now. Him trying to go to different targets, him playing from the pocket more than getting outside of it. We'll continue to see that in 2017 and beyond. Ben Roethlisberger still one of the premier guys in the league.
One thing's for sure, with Jordy Nelson, you can't fault his toughness. And we saw that on display in the NFC Championship game with that rib injury he played through.
To be honest with you, I didn't think he was going to play in the game. When I hear 2 cracked ribs, I just don't see that as a recipe for a guy being able to play wide receiver in a championship game. And he came back in about 2 weeks' time. You're exactly right. Excellent toughness, incredible toughness. And how about the production during the game? He was a factor, especially early.
Yeah, scored a touchdown, 67 yards as well. Backing up. Eluding the pressure right. On the run. That's caught inside the 20. All right, I want to hop to something else real quick. You get 2 weeks off before the Super Bowl. Atlanta, New England. Everyone knows what happens that second week when they're in Houston. What happens the first week?
Well, I think for most of them, it's making sure they get rest and rehab because they're going to let them come down off of the victory from before you start up. Plus, you don't want to get the game plan in too early. You'll peak, and guess what? Now you'll be stale by kickoff time. The best ones integrate the game plan similar to a regular season game. During the week, get it in there with a few extras along the way. So, yeah, it'll make sure they ramp up in time for kickoff on Super Bowl Sunday and not before.